This is the part 3 of the video series on properties of perfect squares or square numbers. The video links to the tutorials on part 1 and part 2 you can find in the description box below. Now, again we have two tables having two columns. The first column is showing numbers and the second column is their perfect squares or square numbers. Now, if you look at this number 2 and this number 8, and if you look at their perfect squares, so this is 4 and this is 64. Similarly, in this table, if you look at 12 and if you look at 18, you have 144 and you have 324. Now, this is a single digit number, therefore it has only one place, and that is the units place. And at the units place you have 4. This is a double digit number, and at the units place you have 4. In this number, at the units place you have 4, and even in this number you have, in the perfect square, you have 4 at the units place. Now, look at all the other perfect squares in this column and in this column. You'll only find the perfect square ending with 4 in the case of numbers that are ending with either 2 or 8. In none of the other numbers you can find 4 at the units place, right? Similarly, in this table, if you look at this 22 and if you look at this 28 and their perfect squares, at the units place you have 4, and even in this case at the units place you have 4. And there are no other numbers that have 4 at their units place, right? So this is the third property, and that is the numbers that end with either 2 or 8, like these two are single digit numbers, but here you have double digit numbers, and this is also these two are also two digit numbers. So if your number is ending with either 2 or 8, then their perfect squares will end with 4, and no other number will have its perfect square ending with 4. So if someone asks you that on the basis of this, can you tell the next two perfect squares, like this is the first two perfect squares, this is third and fourth, this is fifth and sixth, can you tell the seventh and eighth perfect squares? So the answer will be yes. If we know for 22 and 28, first it is 2 and 8, 12 and 18, 22 and 28, then you can find for 32, you can find for 32 times 32, whatever you get will be the next perfect square ending with 4, and the next one will be 38 times 38. Now, I'm not going to solve it, I'm leaving this for you, right? Can you tell the next two? Yes, 42 times 42. And whatever number you get, that will end with 4. And same thing with 48 times 48, right? Whatever number you get will end with 4, right? Now, this is the importance of, the perfect squares ending with 4, that it will tell you that either your number ends with 2 or your number ends with 8. And this is important when you are dealing with objective type questions. Suppose you have some number, we don't know, like let it be any number, and that ends with 4, and it's given to you that this number is actually, a perfect square. This number is actually a perfect square of one of the numbers given, like here you have option A, B, C and D. So in option A, your number ends with, let's say, 7. In this one, your number ends with, let's say, 3. And in this one, your number ends with 2. And in this one, your number ends with 8. Let's suppose. So this is perfect square. And it's asked you that of which number this number is a perfect square. So instantly think that this is not true, this will not be true because it's ending with 7. This is not going to be true because it's ending in 3. On these two you can try, right? Because this is ending with 2 and this is ending with 8. Therefore, since this is a perfect square ending with 4, the number has to either end with 2 or 8, then you can find the answer from these two, right? So these two options, get excluded instantly. So this is the importance of knowing all these properties.